There are moments in your life when you have exactly 7 seconds to make a decision that will either save you or destroy you. For me, that moment came on a freezing December night in Chicago when I was carrying a bottle of poisoned wine to the most dangerous man in the city, knowing that if I warned him, I'd die. And if I didn't, I'd never forgive myself. My name is Layla Bennett. I'm 23 years old, and I'm a nursing student working double shifts at the Velvet Crown, one of those exclusive restaurants where a single bottle of wine costs more than my monthly rent. Every dollar I earn goes toward my 6-year-old brother Ethan's hearing aids and speech therapy. Ethan was born profoundly deaf. He's the smartest, sweetest kid I've ever known. He's learning sign language faster than I can keep up. He's my entire world, my reason for living. The reason I'm standing in the wine cellar on December 22nd, overhearing a conversation that's about to get me killed. I wasn't supposed to be in the wine cellar. I'd dropped a tray upstairs, shattered 6 crystal glasses. My manager sent me down to get replacements while he handled my tables. I was grateful. Those glasses probably cost more than I made in a week. The cellar was quiet, peaceful. That's when I heard voices from the private tasting room, a woman speaking in English with an Italian accent. It needs to look natural, like a heart attack or stroke. No one can suspect poison. My blood went cold. I pressed myself against the wine rack. Another voice. Male. Korean accent. The wine will be served during the toast. He always drinks during toasts. Good. Once he's dead, the company transfers to Sungshul. We finalize the merger, and you and I split the profits. What about the girl, the waitress who's serving tonight? She's nobody. Poor. Desperate. If anyone asks questions, we blame her. She'll take the fall. They were talking about murder, about framing an innocent person, about me. I recognized the woman's voice now. Sophia Romano, guest of honor at tonight's party. The beautiful woman in the red dress who'd been playing the perfect hostess. The voices moved. Footsteps. Sophia walked past with a Korean man I didn't recognize. Neither saw me. They disappeared upstairs and I was left alone, shaking. I should have called the police, but I was an undocumented worker's daughter. Involving the police meant risking deportation, risking losing Ethan. And who would believe me? I was nobody. Sophia Romano was old money, connected, powerful. But I couldn't let someone die. So I made a decision. A stupid, dangerous, potentially suicidal decision. I was going to warn him. I grabbed the replacement glasses and went back upstairs. The party was in full swing. Well-dressed people drinking expensive wine, completely unaware that murder was about to happen. I scanned the room. At the head table, one man sat alone. Korean. Early 30s. Perfectly tailored black suit. Sharp features. Dark hair. Eyes that seemed to see everything and trust nothing. He looked cold. Detached. And there was something in the way he held himself. Like he was in pain. Sophia Romano was next to him. Playing the perfect hostess. Touching his arm. Laughing. But I could see the performance. The calculation behind her smile. I had to warn him. But how? I couldn't just tell him. Sophia was watching. If I said anything out loud, I'd be dead before morning. I needed something subtle. That's when I saw it. A small notepad on the serving station where we wrote special orders. And a pen. My hand shook as I grabbed the notepad. I had maybe 30 seconds. 30 seconds to write something that would save a man's life without getting myself killed. What do you write in a moment like that? How do you condense a murder plot into a message short enough to pass unnoticed? I thought about Ethan. About how if I died tonight, he'd end up in foster care. About how I had to be smart, had to be careful. Then I wrote 7 words. Just 7. Don't drink the wine, they are watching. 7 words, 44 characters. the shortest, most dangerous message I'd ever written. I folded the paper as small as possible, tucked it into my palm, and walked toward the head table, heart pounding. Sophia saw me coming, smiled. Ah, perfect timing. We're ready for the toast. The man next to her didn't look at me. He was checking his phone, completely unaware I was about to either save his life or get us both killed. I set the wine bottle down, began opening it with shaking hands. Sophia was watching me, studying me. "Are you all right, dear?" Her voice was sweet. "Fake. You look pale." "I'm fine, just a long shift." "Well, don't let us keep you. Just pour the wine and you can go rest." I opened the bottle, poured into Sophia's glass, then into the man's glass. Deep red wine. Beautiful. Expensive. Deadly. This was my moment. I set the bottle down, reached for his glass to adjust its position, a normal thing for a waitress to do. And as I touched the glass, I let the folded note slip from my palm onto the table next to his hand. It was so small. For a horrible second I thought he wouldn't see it. But then his hand moved, covered the note, swept it smoothly into his lap, without looking at me, without anyone noticing. He'd seen it. Now I just had to pray he'd believe it. I moved away, continued serving, tried to act normal. 5 minutes passed. Sophia stood up, tapped her wine glass. The room went quiet. "Thank you all for coming tonight. We're here to celebrate the merger of Zenith Corporation and Romano Industries, and most importantly," she turned to the man, "a celebration of my engagement to Baek Hyun-woo." Baek Hyun-woo, so that was his name. Engaged to the woman trying to kill him. Sophia raised her glass. "To new beginnings, to partnership, to love. Darling, will you join me?" Everyone raised their glasses. Hyun-woo looked at his wine, at the deep red liquid that was supposed to kill him. Then he did something unexpected. He stood up, picked up his glass, and instead of drinking, he walked over to Sophia. He handed her his glass and took hers. "In Korean tradition," he said, voice deep and controlled, "the groom drinks from the bride's cup first, to show trust. You don't mind, do you?" Sophia's smile froze. Panic flashed in her eyes. Of course not. But she didn't drink. She just stood there, holding her original glass, the safe glass, while Hyun-woo held the poisoned one. "Drink with me," Hyun-woo said. It wasn't a request. "Show everyone how much you trust me." The room was silent. Sophia had no choice. She raised the glass, the poisoned one, to her lips. Her hand was shaking. Then Hyun-woo moved. Fast. He grabbed Sophia's wrist, twisted. The wine glass flew from her hand and shattered. Red wine splashed across the carpet like blood. "I received an interesting warning tonight," Hyun-woo said, voice calm but deadly. "Someone told me not to drink the wine, that I was being watched, that someone wanted me dead." He looked at Sophia. "You know what's funny? I've suspected you for months. Suspected you were working with my half-brother to steal my company. But I didn't have proof. Until tonight. Until you refused to drink from the glass meant for me." Sophia's face went white. "Hyun-woo, this is ridiculous. Security is already detaining Sang-chul in the parking lot. We found the deposit records, the forged documents, the plans to frame me after my death." He addressed the room. "This party is over. Everyone out. Now." People scattered. I should have left. But I was frozen. Watching. Hyun-woo's security appeared. Men in black suits with weapons. They surrounded Sophia and the Korean man. It was over. I'd saved him. But then Sophia looked directly at me. Her eyes narrowed. She recognized me. "It was her!" Sophia screamed, pointing. "The waitress! She tried to poison you. I caught her tampering with the wine. She's working for your competitors." Every eye turned to me. Security moved in my direction. I'd just traded one death sentence for another. I ran. Didn't think. Just ran. Through the Aurora room, into the kitchen. Someone shouted behind me. Heavy footsteps. I burst through the back door into the freezing night. Snow was falling. The alley was dark. I was wearing thin clothes and non-slip shoes already soaked through. I ran anyway, because staying meant dying. And I couldn't die. Not when Ethan needed me. I made it maybe 50 feet before someone grabbed me. Strong hands, one covering my mouth before I could scream. I struggled, fought. Stop. The voice was low, calm. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm getting you out of here. Baek Hyun-woo. He was pulling me toward a black Mercedes with tinted windows. Get in, he ordered. Opened the door, pushed me inside, climbed in after me. The driver immediately pulled out. Tires squealing. We were moving fast. Away from the restaurant. Away from Mafia Romano. Away from everything. Hyun-woo looked at me. His eyes were dark, intense, studying me like a puzzle. Who are you? And why did you save my life? My name is Layla Bennett. I'm a waitress. I saved you because I heard them planning to kill you, and I couldn't just let that happen. You could have called the police. I'm the daughter of undocumented immigrants. Calling the police isn't an option for people like me. He nodded, like he understood. The note, 7 words. How did you know that was enough? I didn't. I had about 30 seconds. I had to keep it short. Hope you'd believe me. I almost didn't. I've been betrayed before. My mother was poisoned when I was 16. Since then, I don't trust anyone. But something about your note. He paused. There was desperation in your handwriting. Fear. You weren't trying to manipulate me. You were trying to save me. Even though it put you at risk. I heard them say they'd blame me if anything went wrong. So I was already at risk. And now you're in even more danger. He pulled out his phone, made calls in rapid Korean, then looked at me again. Mafia Romano has connections to organized crime. If she thinks you're a witness, she'll send people to kill you. Kill your family. Eliminate any threat. My heart stopped. My family, my brother, Ethan. He's only 6. He's deaf. He can't. Give me his location. Right now. He's at my neighbor's apartment, Mrs. Chen. Apartment 3B, 1847 West Division Street. Hyun-woo made another call, gave the address, hung up. My people are already on their way. They'll get your brother and your neighbor to safety. No one will hurt them. Why are you helping me? You saved my life. That creates a debt. In my culture, debts are sacred. I always pay what I owe. He leaned back. Also, you're a witness, the only person who can confirm Sophia tried to commit murder. I need you alive, safe, protected, so you can testify. So you're protecting me because I'm useful. I'm protecting you because you risked everything to warn a stranger. That kind of integrity is rare. He looked at me. And yes, because you're useful. I won't lie. I'm not a good man. I'm a businessman who operates in morally gray areas, but I keep my word. As long as you cooperate, as long as you tell the truth about tonight, you and your brother will be safe, protected, taken care of. The car was speeding through Chicago, snow falling harder. Where are we going? Somewhere safe. A cabin I own outside the city, completely secure. You'll stay there until I neutralize the threat. And how long will that take? However long it takes. He looked at me. I'm sorry. You tried to do the right thing, and now your life is being turned upside down. But this is reality. Mafia Romano wants you dead, and I'm the only thing standing between you and her. I thought about Ethan, about my tiny apartment, about my nursing classes and dreams. All of it was gone now. replaced by danger and uncertainty. But Ethan would be safe. That was what mattered. Thank you for saving Ethan. Thank me when this is over. Hyunwoo's phone rang. He answered, listened. His expression didn't change, but something in his eyes did. Something dark and furious. He ended the call. My people arrived at your neighbor's apartment. They're too late. Someone got there first. My blood went cold. What do you mean? Where's Ethan? Where's Mrs. Chen? Mrs. Chen is alive but injured. She's being taken to the hospital. But Ethan... He paused. Sophia's people took him. They have your brother. The world stopped. I couldn't breathe. My baby brother. My 6-year-old deaf brother who couldn't hear danger coming. We have to get him back, I said, voice shaking. We will. Hyunwoo's voice was hard, absolute. I promise you, Layla Bennett, we will get your brother back, and Sophia Romano will pay for taking him. The driver spoke in Korean. Urgent. Warning. Hyunwoo looked out the rear window. His jaw tightened. We're being followed. 3 cars. They found us faster than I expected. How? Sophia must have put a tracker on you. Or on something you're carrying. He looked at my uniform. What do you have in your pockets? I don't have a purse. Just... I reached into my pocket. Pulled out Ethan's spare hearing aid. The one I always carried. Just this. But how could they... Hyunwoo took it, examined it, then found it. A tiny chip. Smaller than a grain of rice. Embedded in the battery compartment. They put a tracker in your brother's hearing aid. They've been listening to everything. Tracking everywhere you go. I felt sick. They'd used Ethan's disability against us. Turn the device that let my brother hear into a weapon. Give it to me, I said. Took the hearing aid back. I'm keeping it. It's the only connection we have to him. The only way we might track where they took him. They'll track us. Let them. You said you were going to protect me. Prove it. Something flickered in Hyunwoo's eyes. Respect, maybe. Drive faster, he told his driver in English. Lose them if you can. If you can't, get us to the cabin anyway. I'll handle the rest. The car accelerated. The chase was on. I sat there, holding my brother's hearing aid, praying that the cold, dangerous man beside me really could protect us. Praying that Ethan was okay, that he was scared but alive, that I'd see him again. 7 words. That's all it had taken to change everything. 7 words on a crumpled piece of paper. 7 words that had saved 1 life and put dozens at risk. 7 words that had turned me from a nobody waitress into a target, a witness, a piece in a game I didn't understand. The cars behind us were getting closer. The driver spoke rapidly in Korean. Hyunwoo responded. Then I heard it. A gunshot. The rear window shattered. Glass exploded. I screamed. Hyunwoo threw himself over me, protecting me with his body. More gunshots. The driver swerved. We were going too fast. The road was too icy. Hold on, Hyunwoo said. His weight was crushing me. His shoulder pressed against my face. Then everything went sideways. The car spun. Hit something. Metal crunched. Airbags deployed. The world became noise and violence and terror. And then silence. Sudden and complete. The car had stopped. We were alive. But for how long? I couldn't hear anything except ringing in my ears. Couldn't see anything except white airbag dust and fractured glass. My entire body hurt. My head was spinning, and Hyunwoo's weight was still on top of me, pinning me to the seat. Are you hurt? His voice cut through the ringing. Calm, controlled, like we hadn't just crashed at high speed while being shot at. I don't know. I don't think so. He pulled back, checked me over with the efficiency of someone who'd done this before, looking for blood, for broken bones, for injury. His hands were gentle but impersonal, clinical. When he was satisfied I wasn't dying, he looked toward the driver. The driver wasn't moving. There was blood on the airbag. Too much blood. Min-jun. Hyunwoo's voice was different now. Softer. Sad. He reached forward, checked for a pulse. Then he closed his eyes for just a moment. A moment of grief for someone who'd clearly meant something to him. He's gone. I'm so sorry. Later. We mourn later. Right now, we survive. He kicked open the door. It was stuck. He kicked harder. It gave way. Come on, we need to move. They're coming. I crawled over the seat. My legs were shaking. My hands were cut from broken glass. But I was alive. I followed Hyunwoo out of the car into the freezing night. We'd crashed into a snowbank on the side of the road. We were somewhere outside the city. Trees. Darkness. No lights anywhere. Just snow and cold and the sound of cars approaching. There! Hyunwoo pointed to the tree line. We run. Stay close to me. Don't stop. Don't look back. We ran. Into the forest. Into the dark. My work shoes weren't made for running through snow. I kept slipping. Falling. Hyunwoo would catch me. Pull me up. Keep me moving. Behind us, I heard car doors. Voices. Flashlights cutting through the dark. They were hunting us. My lungs were burning. My feet were numb. I couldn't feel my hands anymore. This was insane. This couldn't be real. 24 hours ago, I'd been studying for a pharmacology exam. Now I was running through a forest, being hunted by people who wanted me dead. I can't, I gasped. I can't keep going. Yes, you can. Hyunwoo's hand tightened on mine. You're stronger than you think. Trust me. We kept running. The sounds behind us were getting fainter. Either we were losing them, or they were being quiet. Hunting differently. I didn't know which was worse. Finally, after what felt like hours but was probably 15 minutes, we stopped. Hyunwoo pulled me behind a large tree. We crouched in the snow, both of us breathing hard. He pulled out his phone. The screen was cracked, but it still worked. He made a call. Spoke in Korean, low and urgent. Then he hung up. Backup is coming. 20 minutes. 20 minutes is a long time when people are trying to kill you. Then we stay hidden. Stay quiet. He was looking around, assessing, always calculating. How are you feeling? Any dizziness? Nausea? Blurred vision? Just cold. Really, really cold. He shrugged off his jacket. It was probably a $5,000 suit jacket, and he just took it off in the middle of a freezing forest and wrapped it around my shoulders. Underneath, he was wearing a white dress shirt. I could see his shoulder now, could see the way he held it slightly off, like it hurt. Your shoulder. You're injured. Old injury, chronic. It's fine. It's not fine. You're favoring it. And you just used it to shield me during the crash. Let me look at it. Later. When we're safe. There might not be a later if you pass out from pain or injury. I'm a nursing student. Let me help. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he nodded. Unbuttoned his shirt enough for me to see his shoulder. There was a thick scar there. Old. Badly healed. The kind of scar that came from either surgery or violence. And around it, the skin was inflamed, swollen. He'd definitely aggravated it during the crash. When did this happen? 4 years ago. Gunshot wound. The bullet shattered my shoulder blade. They did surgery. Removed most of the fragments. But some are still in there. Chronic pain. Limited mobility. He said it matter-of-factly, like getting shot was just part of doing business. Maybe for him, it was. I touched the inflamed area gently. He flinched, tried to hide it, but I saw it. You need ice, anti-inflammatories, probably physical therapy, And you definitely shouldn't be throwing yourself over people in car crashes. Noted. I'll add it to my list of things not to do while being chased by assassins. Was that humor? Was Baek Hyun-woo, the cold, dangerous CEO, actually making a joke? I looked at him. Really looked at him. In the moonlight filtering through the trees, with his perfect hair messed up, and his expensive shirt torn, and his face showing actual emotion instead of that controlled mask, he looked different. Younger. More human. More like someone who'd been hurt and survived, rather than someone who hurt others. "Thank you," I said, "for protecting me during the crash. You didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did. I told you. Debts are sacred. You saved my life. I save yours. That's how this works." "Is that the only reason? Because of debt?" He looked at me, and for just a moment the mask slipped completely. I saw something raw in his eyes, something vulnerable. "No," he said quietly. "That's not the only reason." Before I could ask what he meant, his phone buzzed. He looked at it. His expression hardened. "They found Minjun's body. They're taking pictures, sending them to me as a warning." "I'm so sorry. He was your friend?" "He was my driver for 6 years. Loyal. Trustworthy. He had a wife. 2 kids. And now he's dead because Sofia Romano is a monster who can't accept that I saw through her plans." Hyunwoo's voice was cold, deadly. "She's made this personal, and I always finish personal business." "What does that mean?" "It means when this is over, when your brother is safe and you're safe, Sofia Romano will pay for everything she's done, every life she's taken, every person she's hurt. I'm going to destroy her so completely that there won't be enough left of her empire to fill a shoebox." I should have been scared, should have been horrified by the casual way he talked about destruction, but instead, I felt relieved. Because this man, this cold and dangerous man, was on my side, was using all that power and ruthlessness to protect me, to get Ethan back. And I needed that. Needed someone who was willing to do terrible things to save the people I loved. "Your backup," I said. "How far out are they?" He checked his phone. 10 minutes. We need to move closer to the road. Make it easier for them to find us." We started moving through the trees, slowly, quietly, listening for any sound that might mean we were being followed. The snow was getting heavier. My feet were so cold I couldn't feel them anymore. I was shivering violently despite Hyunwoo's jacket. That's when I heard it, a branch snapping, behind us, too heavy to be an animal, too deliberate to be accidental. Hyunwoo heard it too. He pulled me behind a tree, put his finger to his lips. "Stay quiet." I nodded. He reached behind his back, pulled out a gun. I'd known he was carrying, had felt it during the crash. But seeing it in his hand, seeing him hold it with the casual confidence of someone who'd used it before, made everything real in a way it hadn't been before. A flashlight beam cut through the trees, then another, then another. 3 people, all armed, all hunting us. "There's nowhere to run," a voice called out. Male, American accent. "We know you're out here. We found blood in the snow. Someone's injured. Come out now, and we'll make it quick. Make us chase you, and it'll hurt." Hyunwoo looked at me, pointed to a thick cluster of bushes to our left. "Hide." I shook my head. I wasn't leaving him. Wasn't hiding while he fought alone. He leaned close, whispered directly in my ear. "If something happens to me, you run. You hide. You wait for my backup team. They'll get you to safety. Get your brother back. Promise me. Nothing's going to happen to you. Promise me." "I promise." He nodded. Then he did something I didn't expect. He kissed my forehead. Quick, gentle, like a blessing or a goodbye. Then he stepped out from behind the tree. Into view, gun raised. Looking for me? He called out. The flashlight swung toward him. 3 beams, 3 guns. He was outnumbered, outgunned. But he didn't look scared. He looked calm. Ready. Dangerous. Baek Hyun-woo, one of the men said. The Shadow of Soul. I've heard stories about you, about what you can do, but stories don't stop bullets. No, Hyun-woo agreed. But strategy does. Tell me something. Did Sofia Romano pay you enough to die tonight? Because that's what's going to happen if you don't walk away right now. The men laughed. There's 3 of us. 1 of you. The girl doesn't count. We're taking you both back to Chicago, taking you to people who want to talk to you. And if you cooperate, maybe we'll let the girl live. Wrong answer. Everything happened fast. Hyun-woo moved. His injured shoulder didn't slow him down at all. He fired twice. 2 of the men went down. The 3rd got a shot off. It missed. Hyun-woo didn't. The 3rd man fell. Silence. 3 bodies in the snow. Hyun-woo standing over them, gun still raised, breathing hard. He checked each man, making sure they were really down. Really no longer a threat. Then he came back to me. Are you okay? I asked. Stupid question. He'd just killed 3 people. But he nodded. Like this was normal. Like this was just another night in his life. I'm fine. They're not. He checked his phone. Backup is here. 2 minutes out. Come on. We made it to the road just as 2 black SUVs pulled up. More men in suits. More security. They swarmed us, checking for injuries, securing the area. One of them handed Hyun-woo a fresh phone. He made a series of calls, giving orders, handling the situation, being the CEO even in the middle of a crisis. They loaded us into one of the SUVs. Warm air hit me like a physical force. I started shaking even harder as my body tried to warm up too fast. Someone wrapped a blanket around me. Someone else handed me hot coffee. I took it with shaking hands and tried to believe I was actually safe. Hyun-woo sat next to me. He was on the phone, speaking Korean, listening. Then he hung up and looked at me. We have a location, where they're holding your brother. Hope surged through me. Where? The Romano estate, Sofia's family compound outside the city. It's heavily guarded. Basically a fortress. But I have people inside. They're confirming Ethan's location now. We need to go get him. Now. We will. But not like this. Not when we're injured and exhausted and they're expecting us. We need strategy. We need a plan. We need to be smart about this. He's 6 years old and he's deaf and he's probably terrified and… Hyun-woo took my hand. Squeezed gently. I know you're scared. But rushing in will get him killed. Will get us killed. Give me 12 hours. 12 hours to plan. To position my people. To make sure when we go in, we get him out alive. 12 hours is forever when your little brother is in danger. I know. But it's the difference between success and suicide. Trust me, please. I looked into his eyes. Saw the certainty there, the experience. This was a man who dealt with dangerous situations before, who knew how to plan, how to execute, how to win. Okay, I whispered. 12 hours, but then we're going in, with or without a perfect plan. Agreed. The SUV drove through the night. Eventually we pulled up to a cabin. Not a cabin like you see in movies, small and rustic. This was a mansion disguised as a cabin. 3 stories, massive windows, surrounded by forest and completely isolated. The kind of place you'd go if you never wanted to be found. Inside, it was warm, modern, comfortable. Nothing like the cold, dangerous night we'd just survived. Hyun-woo's people had already set up a command center in the main room, computers, maps, Communication equipment. They were professionals. Military trained, probably. They moved with precision and purpose. Hyun-woo spoke to them in Korean, giving instructions, reviewing information. Then he turned to me. There's a bedroom upstairs, bathroom attached. Clean clothes in the closet. Get some rest. Take a hot shower. Warm up. I'll wake you when we're ready to move. I can't rest. Not when Ethan is. You can't help him if you collapse from exhaustion and hypothermia. Take care of yourself. That's an order. You don't get to order me around. Fine. It's a strong suggestion from someone who has more experience with situations like this than you do. He softened slightly. Please, Layla. You've been through trauma tonight. Your body needs rest. Give yourself a few hours. We'll get your brother back. I promise. I wanted to argue, wanted to insist I was fine, but my legs were shaking. My hands were numb. My head was fuzzy. He was right. I was no good to Ethan like this. Okay, a few hours. But you wake me the second you hear anything. The second. I will. I went upstairs, found the bedroom. It was beautiful, warm, safe. I peeled off my wet, torn uniform, took the longest, hottest shower of my life. Let the water wash away the blood and the fear and the cold. When I finally got out, I found clean clothes in the closet, soft sweatpants, a warm sweater, thick socks. Everything fit perfectly, like Hyun-woo had known my size, had prepared for this. How long had he been planning for emergencies like this? I lay down on the bed, just for a minute, just to close my eyes. I'd get up in a few minutes, help with the planning, do something useful. But my body had other ideas. The moment I closed my eyes, I was out. Deep, dreamless sleep. The kind of sleep that comes after trauma and adrenaline and exhaustion. When I woke up, sunlight was streaming through the windows. I checked my phone. 8 hours. I'd slept for 8 hours, which meant we only had 4 hours left before the 12-hour deadline. I got dressed quickly. Ran downstairs. The command center was still active. Hyun-woo's people were still working, but Hyun-woo himself wasn't there. Where is he? I asked one of the guards. Office. Second door on the left. I found the office. Knocked. No answer. I opened the door anyway. Hyun-woo was slumped over his desk. Asleep. He'd changed clothes at some point. Was wearing black cargo pants and a black tactical shirt, like he was ready to go to war. His shoulder was bandaged. Someone had treated it properly, but even in sleep, his face looked exhausted, stressed, burdened. I walked over quietly, looked at what he'd been working on, maps of the Romano estate, guard positions, entry points, extraction routes. He'd been planning all night, hadn't slept at all. Had spent every moment trying to figure out how to save Ethan. Something warm spread through my chest. This cold, dangerous man had stayed up all night planning how to rescue my little brother, had put everything else aside to help me, had treated this like it was his own family in danger. I touched his shoulder gently. He woke instantly, hand going to the gun on his hip. Then he saw me, relaxed slightly. Sorry, I said. Didn't mean to startle you? You didn't, I'm just... He ran his hand through his hair. Tired. It's been a long night. You should have slept. Couldn't. Not when there's work to do. He stood up, stretched, winced as his shoulder complained. Your brother. We found him. He's in the east wing of the estate. Sophia's people are keeping him in a bedroom on the second floor. Guards outside the door. But here's the good part, they're treating him well. Giving him food. Letting him watch TV. They don't want to hurt him. They're using him as leverage to get to you. That's the good part? Better than the alternative. It means, when we go in, he'll be healthy. Uninjured. just scared. When do we go? Tonight. During the annual Romano Charity Gala. Sophia's hosting it at the estate. Half of Chicago's elite will be there. Guards will be focused on the party. Security will be watching for external threats, not internal rescue operations. My people will infiltrate as catering staff. I'll go in as a guest. You'll come with me as my +1. Me? Why would I go? That's insane. Sophia wants me dead. Exactly. She wants you dead. Which means she'll be focused on you. Watching you. Trying to figure out how to get to you. While she's distracted, my people will get Ethan out through the service entrance. By the time she realizes what happened, we'll all be gone. You want to use me as bait. I want to use you as a distraction. There's a difference. You'll be with me the entire time, protected, safe. Nothing will happen to you. I thought about it. Thought about the risk. Thought about Ethan. Thought about how there was no other choice. This was the plan. This was how we got my brother back. Okay, I said. I'll do it. But I want to be armed. I want a weapon. And I want you to teach me how to use it. Hyunwoo looked at me for a long moment. Then he smiled. Actually smiled. It transformed his face, made him look younger, almost kind. You're braver than you know, Layla Bennett. And smarter. Yes, I'll teach you. Come on. We have 4 hours before we need to leave. Let's make you dangerous. We went to the basement. Turned out the cabin had a shooting range. Of course it did. Because Baek Hyun-woo's cabin was actually a fully equipped safe house designed for exactly this kind of situation. He handed me a handgun. Small. Easy to conceal. Easy to control. This is a Glock 43, 9mm, 6 rounds in the magazine, 1 in the chamber. Simple to use, point and shoot. But there's an art to it. He stood behind me, his chest against my back, his arms around mine, guiding my hands into the correct position. His breath warm against my ear as he spoke. Feet shoulder-width apart, knees slightly bent, arms extended but not locked. Focus on the target, not the gun. Breathe. Squeeze the trigger. Don't pull it. I could feel his heartbeat against my back, could feel the warmth of him, could feel the controlled strength in his arms. This was instruction, professional, but it felt like something else, something more intimate, more personal. Fire when ready, he said quietly. I fired. The gun kicked. The sound was deafening even with ear protection. The bullet hit the target. Not center mass, but close. Good. Again. We practiced for an hour. Me shooting. Him correcting. Adjusting my stance, my grip, my breathing. By the end, I was hitting center mass consistently. Not perfect, but good enough. Remember, he said, the gun is a last resort. You only use it if there's no other option. If someone is about to kill you or Ethan, otherwise you stay close to me. You let me handle the violence. Why are you so good at this? At violence and strategy and survival? Because I grew up in a world where being good at those things was the only way to survive. My mother was murdered when I was 16. My father remarried within 6 months. Had another son with his new wife. That son, Sang-chul, was raised to believe he should inherit everything, should control everything. When my father died and left the company to me instead, Sang-chul declared war. He's been trying to destroy me for years. This thing with Sophia? It's just his latest attempt. Family shouldn't be like that. Shouldn't be about war and betrayal. No, it shouldn't. But that's the world I live in. He looked at me. What about your family? You've mentioned Ethan, your parents, but nothing else. There's nothing else. My parents died when I was 19. Car accident. Drunk driver. I'd just started college. Ethan was 3. I became his guardian, dropped out of school for 2 years to take care of him, worked 3 jobs to pay for his hearing aids and speech therapy. Finally went back to school when he started kindergarten, nursing degree, because I wanted to help people the way the nurses helped my parents after the accident. You raised your brother alone, from age 19. Someone had to. And he's worth it. Every sleepless night, every missed social event, every sacrifice, he's the best thing in my life. He's lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have him. He makes me better. Makes me want to be better. Stronger. Braver. You're already all of those things. I looked at him. This cold, dangerous man who'd killed 3 people last night without hesitation. This man who was planning to walk into enemy territory tonight to save my brother. This man who'd stayed up all night making sure the plan was perfect. Who'd taught me to shoot. Who'd protected me when he didn't have to. Why are you really doing this? I asked. And don't say it's because of debt. Don't say it's because I'm useful. Tell me the truth. He was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke. Because when you slipped me that note last night, when you risked everything to warn a stranger about danger, you reminded me that good people still exist. That integrity still matters. I live in a world of liars and manipulators and people who'd sell their own mothers for profit. But you risked your life for someone you didn't know, didn't ask for anything in return, didn't expect payment or gratitude. You just did the right thing because it was right. And He looked away. I haven't felt that kind of pure goodness in a long time. It made me want to protect you, to keep that light in the world. Because the world needs people like you. Needs to be reminded that heroes aren't always the people with power. Sometimes they're waitresses who write 7 words on scraps of paper. My heart was pounding, not from fear, from something else. Something I didn't want to name. Something I definitely shouldn't be feeling about a man I'd known for less than 24 hours. We should go, I said. Get ready for tonight. Yeah, we should. But neither of us moved. We just stood there, in that shooting range, looking at each other. And I absolutely knew, that everything had changed between us, that this wasn't just about debt anymore, that something real was happening, something dangerous and complicated and probably a terrible idea. But right now, with my brother in danger and my life turned upside down, I didn't care about terrible ideas. I only cared about the man standing in front of me, the man who'd promised to save my brother, the man who'd called me a hero when I felt like anything but. I reached up, touched his face. He went very still, barely breathing, like he was afraid any movement would make me pull away. I didn't pull away. I kissed him. Soft, tentative, testing. He made a sound, low in his throat. His hands came up to frame my face, and he kissed me back. Not soft, not tentative, deep and desperate and intense, like he'd been holding back and finally couldn't anymore. When we finally broke apart, we were both breathing hard. That was a mistake, he said. Probably. We can't do this. It's dangerous, inappropriate. You're under my protection. This is wrong. I know. I don't care. Layla. I almost died last night. My brother is being held hostage. I have no idea if I'll survive tonight. So I'm done being careful. Done overthinking. Done pretending I don't feel what I feel. And what do you feel? That you're the most dangerous man I've ever met, and also the safest. That you've killed people and protected people, and somehow both of those things make sense. That I should be terrified of you, but instead, I trust you more than I've trusted anyone in years. I took a breath. I feel like maybe I'm falling for you. And I know that's insane, but that's what I feel. He closed his eyes, rested his forehead against mine. I should walk away from you. should keep this professional, should protect you and get your brother back, and then send you away to live your life far from my world. But I don't want to. I want to keep you. Want to find every excuse to keep you close. Want to be the person who protects you and makes you smile and deserves the faith you have in me. He pulled back, looked at me with those intense dark eyes. I'm falling for you too, Layla, and that's the most dangerous thing I could possibly do. We stood there, in the shooting range, surrounded by weapons and targets. Two people who should never have met, who should never have connected, but who'd found each other anyway, in the middle of violence and danger, and somehow, impossibly, found something worth fighting for. The dress Hyunwoo's people gave me was red, blood red, elegant, expensive. The kind of dress that made a statement. The kind of dress that said, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not hiding. I'm here and I'm dangerous too. I'd never worn anything like it. Had never felt like the kind of person who could wear something like it. But when I looked in the mirror, I barely recognized myself. The scared waitress was gone. In her place was someone harder. Someone who'd survived a car chase and a shootout. Someone who'd learned to use a gun. Someone who was about to walk into enemy territory to save her brother. Hyunwoo was waiting downstairs. He was wearing a tuxedo. Black. Perfect. He looked like he belonged in a James Bond movie. Dangerous and sophisticated in equal measure. When he saw me on the stairs, he went very still, stared at me like he was seeing me for the first time. You look... He stopped, started again. You look dangerous. Is that a compliment? The highest compliment I know how to give. He handed me something, a small earpiece, nearly invisible. Communications. My team will be on this channel. You'll hear everything. If something goes wrong, if you need help, just say the word sunflower. That's our distress signal. My people will extract you immediately. Sunflower? My mother's favorite flower. She had a garden full of them before she died. It's personal. Something I'd never use in normal conversation. So if you say it, I know you're in trouble. And what's your distress signal? I don't have one. I'm never in distress. He said it seriously, but I caught the tiny hint of humor in his eyes. He was joking. Baek Hyunwoo was actually joking. The cold, dangerous CEO had a sense of humor. Right. Because you're invincible. Something like that. He offered his arm. Ready? No, but let's do this anyway. The Romano estate was exactly what I'd expected. Massive, ostentatious, old money pretending to be old class. The driveway was lined with luxury cars. The entrance was grand. The security was everywhere. Men in suits with earpieces, watching, assessing, looking for threats. We pulled up in Hyunwoo's car, gave our names to security. They checked a list, found us, waved us through. We were expected, because Hyunwoo had made sure we were invited, had used his connections, his power, his reputation, to get us access to the one place Sophia Romano thought she was safe. Inside, the party was in full swing. Chicago's elite, business owners, politicians, socialites, all of them drinking expensive champagne and pretending they didn't know the Romano family made their money through less than legal means. That's how it worked in this world. Everyone knew. No one acknowledged it. As long as the money kept flowing and the parties stayed elegant, the truth stayed buried. Sophia Romano was holding court in the center of the room. She was wearing white, virginal, innocent. Everything she wasn't. When she saw us, when she saw me walking in on Hyunwoo's arm, her face went pale, then red. Then she smiled. That perfect, fake smile. Hyunwoo, she said, walking over. What a surprise. I didn't expect to see you here. especially not after last night's unfortunate misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? Hyunwoo's voice was cold. Is that what we're calling attempted murder now? I have no idea what you're talking about. Perhaps you've been working too hard. Perhaps you need rest. Perhaps... She looked at me. Really looked at me. Perhaps you've been keeping the wrong company. This is your waitress, isn't it? The one who caused all that commotion at the Velvet Crown? Tell me, Hyunwoo, are you in the habit of bringing staff to social events? How very democratic of you. Her name is Layla Bennett. She's my date. And she has more integrity in her little finger than you have in your entire body. Sophia's smile didn't falter, but her eyes went ice cold. How charming. Well, enjoy the party. Do try the wine. It's excellent. Imported from Italy. Family vineyards. She emphasized the word wine slightly. A reminder. A threat. I think I'll pass on the wine, I said. My voice was steady, stronger than I felt. I've heard the Romano family has a tendency to serve drinks that are dangerous. Sophia's mask slipped, just for a second, just long enough for me to see the rage underneath. Be careful, dear. Accidents happen at parties like this. People get hurt. People disappear. It would be such a shame if something unfortunate happened to you. Or to that sweet little brother of yours. Hyunwoo moved. Fast. His hand shot out and grabbed Sophia's wrist. Hard enough to hurt. If you touch her brother, if you even think about touching him, I will destroy everything you love, everything you've built. I will burn your family's empire to the ground and salt the earth so nothing ever grows there again. Do you understand me? You're hurting me. Good. I want you to remember this pain, to associate it with this moment, so that when you're tempted to make another stupid decision, you'll remember what happens when you threaten people I care about. He released her. She stumbled back, rubbing her wrist, looking at Hyunwoo with hatred and fear in equal measure. Then she walked away. Back to her guests. Back to her performance. But I'd seen it. The crack in her armor. The fear. That might have been a mistake, I said quietly, making an enemy of her publicly. She was already an enemy. Now she knows I know. Now she has to react. Has to make a move. And when she does, we'll be ready. The party continued. We mingled, talked to guests, played the part of a couple at a social event. Hyunwoo's hand never left the small of my back. Protective, possessive, claiming me in front of everyone. Through my earpiece, I could hear his team. They'd infiltrated the estate, were moving through the service areas, getting closer to Ethan's location. Everything was going according to plan. Then I saw him, standing near the bar, a Korean man in his late 20s, good-looking, well-dressed. But there was something off about him, something in the way he looked at Hyunwoo. Hatred mixed with envy mixed with something darker. That's him, Hyunwoo said quietly. Baek Sang-chul, my half-brother, the one who's been trying to destroy me. He looks like you. Same father, different mothers, different everything else. Hyunwoo's jaw tightened. He's the one who convinced Sophia to try to poison me, who helped her plan the whole thing. He wants control of Zenith Corporation, wants my father's legacy, wants everything I have. What are you going to do about him? Nothing tonight. Tonight is about your brother, about keeping you safe. Sang-chul can wait. His reckoning will come later. My earpiece crackled. A voice speaking in Korean. Hyunwoo listened. His expression didn't change, but I felt him tense beside me. What? I whispered. What's wrong? They found Ethan. He's in the location we expected. But there's a problem. There are more guards than we anticipated, and Sophia's people are using him as bait. They know we're here, know we're planning a rescue. They're waiting for us to make a move. My blood went cold. It's a trap. Yes, which means we need a new plan. He was thinking, calculating. Stay here, in this room, surrounded by witnesses. Don't move. Don't talk to anyone except me. I'm going to handle this. What are you going to do? Create a distraction. Give my team the opening they need to get to Ethan. He handed me something, a small device, like a car key fob. If things go badly, press this button. It'll send an alert to my entire security network. They'll evacuate you immediately, get you somewhere safe. I'm not leaving without you and Ethan. Layla. No. We're a team. You said it yourself. We do this together or not at all. He looked at me, and I saw fear in his eyes. Actual fear. Not for himself. For me. You're going to be the death of me, Layla Bennett. Or the making of you. We'll find out. He kissed me. Right there, in front of everyone. In front of Sophia and Sang Chul and all of Chicago's elite. A claiming kiss. A promise. A declaration that I was his and he was mine, and anyone who wanted to hurt me would have to go through him first. Then he walked away, toward the center of the room, toward the small stage where a quartet had been playing background music. He climbed the steps, took the microphone, and the room went quiet. "Ladies and gentlemen," Hyun-woo said. His voice was calm, controlled, but there was steel underneath. I have an announcement to make. A confession, really. Sophia Romano has accused me of being a criminal, of running illegal operations through my shipping company, and I want to address those accusations publicly, right here, right now. Sophia looked panicked, started moving toward the stage, but Hyun-woo held up a hand, stopped her. The truth is, Sophia Romano is right. I am a criminal. I have bent laws, crossed ethical boundaries, operated in gray areas that most people would consider illegal. I've done these things to build my company, to protect my interests, to survive in a world that tried to destroy me because of where I came from and what I looked like. He paused. But there's a difference between bending laws to survive and murdering people to steal their company. There's a difference between operating in moral gray areas and poisoning your fiancé so you can take control of his assets. And Sophia Romano? She's not just a criminal. She's a murderer. And I have proof. He pulled out his phone, connected it to the sound system, and suddenly, voices filled the room. A recording. Sophia's voice, clear as day. It needs to look natural. Like a heart attack or stroke. No one can suspect poison. The room erupted. Gasps, whispers, people pulling out phones, recording, taking pictures. This was a scandal, a revelation, the kind of moment that would make headlines. Sophia was screaming. That's fake. He doctored that recording. He's lying. Am I? Hyun-woo played another clip. Sophia and Sang Chul. Planning, scheming, discussing how they'd frame me for the murder, how they'd split the profits, how they'd destroy anyone who got in their way. That's when Sang Chul moved. He pulled a gun, aimed it at Hyun-woo. You've destroyed everything I worked for, everything I deserve. Security was moving, but not fast enough. Sang Chul was going to shoot. Was going to kill Hyun-woo in front of everyone. I didn't think, didn't plan, just reacted. I grabbed the gun Hyun-woo had given me, raised it, aimed, just like he'd taught me. Breathe, focus, squeeze. I pulled the trigger. Nothing happened. The gun didn't fire, didn't make a sound, just clicked. Empty. I looked at it in shock, then at Hyun-woo. He was looking at me, and I saw it. He'd known. Had known I'd try to protect him. Had known I'd use the gun, and he'd unloaded it. Had made sure I couldn't shoot. Couldn't kill. Couldn't take a life and have to live with that weight. Security reached Sang Chul, tackled him, took his gun. It was over. The immediate threat was neutralized. But I was still standing there, holding an empty gun, realizing what I'd almost done. Realizing that I'd been willing to kill someone to protect Hyun Woo, that I'd crossed a line I'd never thought I'd cross. Hyun Woo was at my side, taking the gun from my shaking hands. It's okay. You're okay. You did exactly what you needed to do. You unloaded it. You knew I'd try to shoot. I knew. And I couldn't let you. Couldn't let you carry that weight. You're too good for that. Too pure. I won't let this world corrupt you the way it corrupted me. Through my earpiece, I heard the words I'd been waiting for. Korean voices. Urgent. Excited. Then one of them switched to English. We have the package. Extraction successful. The boy is safe. Ethan. They'd gotten Ethan. While everyone was distracted by Hyun Woo's revelation, while security was focused on Sang Chul, the team had gotten my brother out. I started crying, relief flooding through me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hyun Woo held me, right there in the middle of the chaos, in the middle of the scandal and the screaming and the police sirens that were already approaching. He held me and let me cry and whispered promises in my ear. Promises that everything would be okay, that Ethan was safe, that I was safe, that it was over. Sofia Romano was arrested that night. So was Sang Chul, charged with attempted murder, conspiracy, fraud, kidnapping. The evidence Hyun Woo had collected was overwhelming. The recordings, the financial records, the testimonies from people in their organization who decided to turn evidence rather than go down with them. The Romano Empire collapsed within a week, their assets frozen, their connections severed, their reputation destroyed. Hyun Woo had kept his promise. He'd burned it all to the ground. 3 months later, I was sitting in Hyun Woo's office at Zenith Corporation. Ethan was on the floor playing with blocks. He'd just had surgery, a cochlear implant. Hyun Woo had paid for it, insisted on it, said it was the least he could do. Ethan could hear now, not perfectly, but enough. Enough to hear me call his name, enough to hear music, enough to hear the world in ways he never had before. He was also learning faster than ever. Signing, speaking, reading. He was brilliant, happy, safe, everything I'd ever wanted for him. I have something for you, Hyun Woo said. He handed me a document. Your freedom, contract termination, release from any obligation to me or my company. You're free to go. Live your life. Finish your nursing degree. Build the future you deserve. I looked at the document, at the official letterhead, at the signatures that made it binding. My way out. My escape from this dangerous world. I tore it in half. I don't want freedom from you, I said. I want freedom with you. I want to be part of your life, part of your world. Not because I owe you, not because I'm obligated, but because I choose you. I choose this. I choose us. My world is dangerous. I know. People will always try to hurt me, which means they'll try to hurt you, try to use you against me. I know. I'm not a good man. I've done terrible things. Will probably do more terrible things. I operate in moral gray areas that most people would find unforgivable. I know all of that. And I choose you anyway. Because you're also the man who stayed up all night planning how to save my brother, who unloaded a gun so I wouldn't have to live with taking a life, who calls me dangerous and means it as the highest compliment, who made me feel like a hero when I felt like a coward. I choose you, Hyun Woo. All of you, the good and the bad and the complicated. He was quiet for a long moment. Then he stood up, walked to a cabinet, opened it, pulled out something small, framed. It was the receipt. The one I'd written the 7 words on. Crumpled. Stained. But preserved behind glass. Displayed like art. I kept it, he said. The moment my life changed. The moment someone believed I was worth saving. I kept it to remind myself that good people exist. That integrity matters. That sometimes the bravest thing you can do is risk everything for a stranger. He looked at me. You changed my life that night, Layla Bennett. You saved me in more ways than you know, and I want to spend the rest of my life being worthy of that faith. Being the man you saw when you wrote those 7 words. I walked over to him, took his hand. You're already that man. You've always been that man. You just needed someone to see it. And you see it? I see you, all of you, and I love what I see. He kissed me, soft and sweet and full of promise. And I knew, I absolutely knew, that this was right, that choosing him was right, that choosing this complicated, dangerous, beautiful life was right. Ethan looked up from his blocks, made the sign for love, pointed at Hyunwoo, then at me, then smiled. My 6-year-old deaf brother, who'd been kidnapped and traumatized, who'd lost his hearing but gained so much more. He approved. He understood. He loved Hyunwoo too. We were a family, broken pieces that had somehow fit together into something whole, something real, something worth fighting for. The true strength of a man isn't in his ability to control, but in his capacity to protect. The love between Hyunwoo and Layla proves that integrity is the most valuable currency in the world, valuable enough to win the heart of even a monster. If you were Layla, standing at that line between life and death, would you have had the courage to slip that note? Share your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe to our channel right now so you don't miss the next incredibly dramatic episode. The Blind Pianist and the Mute Yakuza Bodyguard. See you again soon.